What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Crowned by Kenzie. Of course, you know who I am, your host, Mackenzie. And before we go any further, make sure you guys subscribe, like, comment, and hit that notification bell so that way you know when we post another video. All right, guys. So it has been a lot going on in the Diddy drama. And remember, I told you guys last night that I will be back with more information. And today, the indictment has been released. So join me as we take a deep dive into this lengthy 14-page indictment on Sean P. Diddy Combs. All right. And let's figure out what everything. Also, we're going to talk about how he's offered to sell his house as well as his mother's house. But we'll discuss why. All right. So it's no secret that P. Diddy has been dealing with some major legal issues lately. And one of the biggest consequences of those issues is that according to media outlets and also for this indictment, his bail has been denied. All right. This is huge, people. Like for real. This is very huge because with the amount of money and influence that Diddy has, one would think it will be a quick turn and burn for him down to the federal prison. But the judge said not so fast. All right. So, as you all are familiar, unless you've been living up under a rock, and I say that all the time, because y'all should be up on some of this stuff. But Diddy case has been making headlines for weeks, okay? And it's clear that the mogul is facing an uphill battle, a very long uphill battle, might I add. The charges against him are very serious. He's being hit with the RICO. And we're going to kind of break that down and explain a little bit about what a RICO means. Okay, just for some of you who don't know or unfamiliar with what a RICO charge means. Okay, and if convicted, he could be looking at some serious jail time. Try 15 years to life. Now, I doubt he gonna get life. Hmm, maybe 20 years or 25. But I think they gonna R. Kelly him. Something tells me they are going to R. Kelly him. And on top of that, he's also dealing with the financial fallout, which is where the selling of his and his mom's estate comes into play. With so many lawsuits pending, as well as the ones he paid out recently, if you're unfamiliar, to his ex-girlfriend, Cassandra Ventura, Cassie, his income stream is potentially or could be potentially going dry. Y'all, let me tell you what, Diddy has some very tough decisions to make to stay afloat. And it seems like selling his house seems to be one of those. All right. So, in case you're not familiar, his mom, Janice Combs, they seem to be very, very close. You guys go back and do some research. You'll see his mom, Janice Combs. But in case you didn't know, from everything that I know, she was a huge influence on his life and as well as his career. Um, I'm not sure about you guys, but I know for me, I would not offer to sell my mom's home. That's just something I would not do. I would fight tooth and nail before I decided to do something like that because that's a big move. That is a huge move to make to want to sell your mom's home. So, but when you're a desperate man, who knows what lengths you'll go to. So, anyway, guys, I know you guys came here for it. And again, subscribe, like, comment, and follow. And hit that notification bell, okay? And hit that notification bell again so that way you know when we go live, okay? So let's get into this indictment because it's very, very lengthy, and I'm gonna try to speed it up because I want to get through this. Okay, I don't want to take too much of you guys' time, but we're gonna get through it. Just bear with me, okay, as we read along. All right. So again, this is a 14-page indictment. All right. For decades, and this is what got me like, this is wild. Okay. It just starts off crazy. All right. For decades, Sean Combs, aka Puff Daddy, aka P. Diddy, aka Diddy, aka PD, aka Love, The defendant abused, threatened, and coerced women and other men around him. Wait a minute before we go any further. Let's wait a minute. There we go. All commentary is alleged. All right. So, for decades, the defendant abused, threatened, and coerced women and others around him to fulfill his sexual desires, protect his reputation, and conceal his conduct. To do so, Combs relied on the employees, resources, and influence of the multifaceted business empire that he led and controlled, creating a criminal enterprise whose members and associates engaged in and attempted to engage in, among other crimes, sex traffic, forced labor, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and obstruction of justice. Right? The defendant operated his business headquarters at various times in Manhattan and Los Angeles under a variety of United States-based corporate entities, including Bad Boy Entertainment, Combs Enterprises, and Combs Global, collectively the Combs Business. Corporate entities in the Combs business included, among other things, record labels, a recording studio, an apparel line, an alcoholic spirits business, a marketing agency, and a television network and media company. At all times relevant to this indictment, Sean Combs, Diddy, Love, PD, I guess, Love, whatever. The defendant engaged in a persistent and pervasive pattern of abuse toward women and other individuals. This abuse was at times verbal, emotional, physical, and sexual. Well, we saw the physical part of it. I don't think I want to see the sexual part of it, but we'll read along. As part of his pattern of abuse, Combs manipulated women to participate in highly orchestrated performances of sexual activity with the male commercial sex workers. At times, Combs and others acting at his direction made arrangements for women and commercial sex workers to fly to Combs' location. Mind you, that's going to come back into play as we go further along in the story, okay? Remember, I said that. Combs ensured participation from the women by, among other things, obtaining and distributing narcotics to them, controlling their careers, leveraging his financial support, and threatening to cut off the same and using intimidation and violence. Physical abuse by Sean Combs, the defendant, was recurrent and widely known on numerous occasions from at least in or about 2009 and continuing for years. Combs assaulted women by, among other things, striking, punching, dragging, throwing objects at, and kicking them. These assaults were at times witnessed by others and included one instance in a Los Angeles hotel in or about March 2016, which was captured on video and later publicly reported, where Combs kicked, dragged, and threw a vase at a woman, Cassie Ventura, as she attempted to leave. When a member of the hotel security staff intervened, Combs attempted to bribe the staff member to ensure silence. Combs' violence was not limited to these women. It extended to his employees, witnesses, to his abusers, and others. The defendant used the Combs business, including certain employees, to carry out, facilitate, and cover up his abuse and commercial sex. Those employees, including security staff, household staff, personal assistants, and high-ranking supervisors and other associates, acted as close associates, acted as Combs intermediaries, and their conduct was facilitated and assisted by Combs' control of the Combs business. All right, so you guys are with me, right? You guys are with me. I don't want to lose you. If you have any questions, make sure you hit that comment button. Um, all right, so all right, y'all, let's get back into it. All right, from at least in or about 2008 through or about the date of the filing of this indictment, Sean Combs, the defendant, and others known and unknown were members and associates of a criminal organization, the Combs Enterprise, or the Enterprise, I guess as it was known. Members and associates of the Combs enterprise engaged in and attempted to engage in, among other activities, sex trafficking, forced labor, interstate transportation for purposes of prostitution, coercion, and enticement to engage in prostitution, narcotics offenses, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and obstruction of justice. Mind you, that interstate transportation, that's going to come back into play too. You're going to see how I'm going to wrap this all back together, okay? The Combs enterprise, including its leadership, its members, and its associates, constituted an enterprise, RICO, as defined by Title 18, United States Code, Section 1961-4, that is a group of individuals associated in fact, although not a legal entity. There you go. Racketeering. There you go. The Combs enterprise consists of Sean Combs, aka Diddy, the defendants, entities within the Combs business, including but not limited to Bad Boy Entertainment, Combs Entertainment, Combs Global, individuals employed by and associated with the Combs business, and others known and unknown. So, what that kind of means is anybody who had anything to do with any of this, I want you to pay attention and I want you to hear me clearly. Unless you turn into a witness and strike up a deal, and they're coming next. They're coming for you. They are coming for you. Keep that in mind. They're coming for you. I'm telling you. And if you guys are familiar with Dawn Richards, the singer that was Dirty Money, she mentioned some names at one of those parties. So I hope everybody involved has lawyered up and are getting ready for what is to come. Okay? The Combs enterprise constituted an ongoing organization whose members functioned as a continuing unit for a common purpose of achieving the objectives of the Combs enterprises. The Combs enterprise was engaged in and its activities affected interstate and foreign commerce. The Combs enterprise operated in the Southern District of New York and elsewhere. At all times relevant to this indictment, Sean Combs, the defendant, was the leader of the Combs enterprise. Sean Combs, the defendant, and others participated in unlawful and other activities related to the conduct of the Combs enterprise's affairs. These individuals included certain Combs business employees, such as members of Combs, security staff, household staff, personal assistants, and high-ranking supervisors, as well as other associates. Now, the purpose of Combs enterprise. The purpose of Combs Enterprise included the following: operating a global business in the media, entertainment, and lifestyle industries, including, among other things, record labels, a recording studio, an apparel line, an alcoholic spirits business, a marketing agency, and a television network and media company. Preserving, protecting, promoting, and enhancing the power, reputation, and brand of Sean Combs, the defendant, as a musician, entrepreneur, and figure in the entertainment industry. Enriching members and associates of the enterprise, including its leader, Combs, and in particular, those who demonstrated loyalty to Combs and willingness to conceal his crimes. Preserving, protecting, promoting, and enhancing the power of Combs enterprise, including the power of its leader, Combs, through violence, use of firearms, threats of violence, coercion, and verbal, emotional, physical, and sexual abuse. Fulfilling the personal desires of Combs, particularly those related to Combs' sexual gratification, including through the exploitation of women and men, and the use, allegedly, and the use of commercial sex workers. Enabling Combs and other members and associates of the Combs enterprise to engage in unlawful acts, violence. We went through that. coercion, enticement to engage in prostitution, narcotics distribution, and other crimes. Securing absolute loyalty from members of the Combs enterprise, including through acts of violence and threats. So he would threaten them that either they gonna go with him or they gonna go against him. And at that time, I pity the fool who went against him. All right. Protecting the Combs enterprise and its members and associates, including Combs, from detection and prosecution by law enforcement authorities through acts of intimidation, manipulation, bribery, and threats of retaliation against individuals who witness the crimes committed by members and associates of the enterprise. Means and methods of the enterprise. Among the means and methods by which Sean Combs, Puff Daddy, assisted associates of the Combs Enterprise conducted and participated in the conduct of the affairs of the Combs Enterprise included the following. Are y'all ready? I had to make sure my microphone was on and we was good. All right. All right, Combs and other members and associates of the Combs Enterprise wielded the power and prestige of Combs's role at the Combs business to intimidate, threaten, and lure female victims into Combs' orbit, often under the pressure of romantic relationship. Carisha. Combs then used force, threats of force, and coercion to cause victims to engage in extended sex acts with male commercial sex workers that Combs referred to, among other things, as freak offs. Freak offs were elaborate and produced sex performances that Combs arranged, directed, and masturbated during, and often electronically recorded. Now, mind you, that part gonna come back into play too. In arranging these freak-offs, Combs, with the assistance of members and associates of the Combs Enterprise, transported and caused to be transported commercial sex workers across state lines and internationally. Boom. And there we have it. That, ladies and gentlemen, answers the question, in case some of you have been wondering, why is it that Homeland Security was involved and not really the FBI? Well, there you have it. Because the case has international elements. Allegedly, he did not just transport people from within the United States. He also went outside. He also went outside of the country to transport these people in. So there you have it. That is why Homeland Security was involved instead of the FBI, in case you're wondering. Freak-offs occur regularly, sometimes lasted, I hate that word, y'all. Sometimes lasted multiple days and often involved multiple commercial sex workers. During freak-offs, Combs distributed a variety of controlled substances, y'all ain't even ready, to victims, in part to keep the victims obedient and compliant. Sometimes, unbeknownst to the victims, Combs kept the videos he filmed the victims engaging in sex acts and with commercial sex workers. After freak-offs, Combs and the victims typically received IV fluids to recover from the physical exertion and drug use. Now, you guys remember when Carisha, and I don't want to quote her on this, but do you guys remember when she said, when she made the statement that Diddy could go for days? I think she was on the Breakfast Club, if I'm not mistaken. She was on the Breakfast Club, but she mentioned something about Diddy could go for days. And there you have it. Members and associates of the Combs Enterprise, including high-ranking supervisors, security staff, household staff, personal assistants, and other Combs business employees, facilitated the freak-offs, among other things, booking hotel rooms for the freak-offs, stocking the hotel rooms in advance. But get ready for what? With the required freak-off supplies. Lord. Including controlled substances, baby oil, lubricant, extra linens, and lighting. cleaning the hotel rooms after the freak off to try to mitigate room damage, arranging for travel for victims, commercial sex workers, and Combs to and from freak offs, resupplying Combs with requested supplies, delivering large sums of cash to Combs to pay the commercial sex workers, and scheduling the delivery of IV fluids. In or about March 2024, during the searches of Combs' residences in Miami, you guys remember that, right? Florida and Los Angeles, California, law enforcement seized various freak-off supplies, including narcotics. And more than 1,000, not 100, 1,000 bottles of baby oil and lubricant. Now, the amount of time that these people are alleging these freak offs went on, I'm sure Diddy got stock in Johnson and Johnson and Astroglide too. Because he seemed to be getting busy. 1,000 bottles? What were they doing? Having baby oil pool parties? What the hell was going on in there? Or somebody, he had some dry. Child. Combs subjected victims to physical, emotional, and verbal abuse. I wonder what they used the Astroglide used for the boot, for the anal, for him. Moving on, let me not go down that rabbit hole. Combs subjected victims to physical, emotional, and verbal abuse to cause the victim to engage in freak offs. Combs maintained control over his victims through, among other things, physical violence, promises of career opportunities, granting and threatening to withhold financial support, and by other coercive means, including tracking their whereabouts. Hold on. Dictating the victims' appearance, monitoring their medical records, controlling their housing, and supplying them with controlled substances. Now, allegedly, if you guys go back to, again, I keep redirecting y'all back to her YouTube page, Sloan Bella. She said, the psychic or medium, she said, allegedly, according to her, that Kim Porter came back from the other side and told her that there were cameras in her house, that there were cameras all around her property. That because she lived in such an exclusive neighborhood, and I think she lived in, what is it called in California? Not Tulum, Temecula, Temecula, something like that. If y'all know what I'm talking about, it's a very exclusive neighborhood in California. I want to say Temecula or something along that line. But she said that people disguised as workers were coming in, as city workers, they were coming in, and again, this is allegedly, they were coming around Kim Porter's house and they were putting up security surveillance devices at the direction of somebody. All right. Woo. Combs, here we go. During and separate from freak offs, Combs, among other things, kicked, threw objects that we see, all of this, and dragged victims, we saw it, at times by their hair. These assaults often resulted in injuries that took days or weeks to heal. Combs also threatened victims' careers and livelihoods, including if they resisted participating in freak offs. Victims believed they could not refuse Combs' demands without risking their financial or job security or without repercussions in the form of physical or emotional abuse. Go back to Don Richards' lawsuit. Combs also used the sensitive, embarrassing, and incriminating recordings that he made during freak-offs as collateral to ensure the continued obedience and silence of the victims. Now, I don't know if y'all remember that, but I remember hearing something about that. That it was some videos that he would use to blackmail these people, even some of the higher ups, into doing what he wanted them to do in exchange for them not talking. I remember, y'all got to go back, and I got to go back too, but I remember when all of this started coming out, and it may have been the psychic that said it. I think it was the psychic that said it. That it was some videotapes out there that he was using over some of the higher ups' heads in exchange for their silence. Anywho, allegedly. Members and associates of the Combs enterprise, including Combs security personnel, at times carried firearms. On more than one occasion, Combs himself carried or brandished firearms to intimidate and threaten others, including victims of and witnesses to his abuse. Now, in this indictment, there were some things. It was some things that came out today. It was some things that came out today that there were, I want to say, two AKs or ARs, something they were found around his house during the search, and they were the serial numbers were defiled. They were scratched off of them. So yeah, that's something else. That's something else. But I think if I'm not mistaken, it may be all tied up into this RICO charge. But if they don't get him on this RICO charge, trust me, they're gonna come back for that firearm. Those firearms, trust me. Um, all right. Um, in or about March 2024, during searches of Combs' residences in Miami, Florida, and Los Angeles, California, law enforcement seized firearms and ammunition, including, here we go, three AR-15s with defaced serial numbers, as well as a drum magazine. Yeah, there we have it. Members and associates of the Combs enterprise enable Combs control over victims by following his directions regarding financial payments to victims, advancing or suppressing victims' career opportunities, and acquiring controlled substances Combs used to keep the victims compliant. Members and associates of the Combs enterprises at times witness Combs' violence towards victims, injuries caused by Combs without intervening. I wonder if they're gonna go back and refer to some of those Vlad interviews where those security officers were saying that they were there in the midst of those violent situations. And I wonder if, or they may have already went back and those people are witnesses in this trial. I would think so. And I think they probably have already subpoenaed those Vlad interviews. Hmm. Hmm. All right. Members and associates of the Combs enterprises at times witness Combs' violence towards the victims or the victims' injuries caused by Combs without intervening. Instead, members and associates of the Combs enterprise helped conceal the violence and abuse by, among other things, assisting Combs in monitoring and preventing victims from leaving locations such as hotels or Combs residences. These occasions included instances in which a victim was required to remain in hiding, sometimes for several days at a time, to recover from injuries. Remember, Cassie said in her lawsuit that he put her up in the hotel when he beat her up so bad, and she had to have surgery. And I think he sent her to Mexico or somewhere and put her up in the hotel for a few days until she healed. That's when she was able to come back into public. Remember that? All right. All right, members and associates of the Combs enterprise also assisted Combs in locating and contacting victims who attempted to flee his abuse. Wow. When employees witness to his abuse or others threaten Combs' authority or reputation, Combs and members of and associates of the enterprise engaged in acts of violence, threats of financial and reputational harm, and verbal abuse. These acts of violence include kidnapping and arson. Remember when in Don Richard or Richard's lawsuit, she said that he locked her up in the car and she couldn't get out? Remember when Cassie said he blew up Kid Cudi, I want to say, when he thought they were having an affair? He blew up his car. In addition, on multiple occasions, Combs threw both objects and people as well as hit, dragged, choked, and shoved others. When Combs' authority or reputation was threatened by the possibility of negative publicity or legal or law enforcement action against him, including in or about late 2023, following public allegations of Combs' crime, Combs and associates of the enterprise pressured witnesses and victims, including through attempted bribery to stay silent and not report what they experienced are new to law enforcement. On phone calls, and remember I said these phone calls, Combs and other members and associates of the enterprise, among other things, provided these victims and witnesses with a false narrative of events in effort to conceal Combs's crimes. Combs caused these calls to be recorded on at least two occasions. The Racketeer Conspiracy. From at least in or about 2008 through on or about the date of the filing of this indictment, in the Southern District of New York and elsewhere, Sean Combs, the defendant, and others known and unknown, being persons employed by and associated with the Combs enterprise, described in paragraph 6 through 12 of this indictment, an enterprise engaged in and the activities which affected interstate and foreign commerce, knowingly combined, conspired, confederated, and agreed together and with each other to violate the racketeering laws of the United States, to wit, Title 18 United States Code, Section 1962C, that is to conduct and participate directly and indirectly in the conduct of the affairs of the Combs enterprise through a pattern of racketeering activity as the term is defined in Title 18 United States Code, Section 1961 1 and 1961-5, consisting of A, multiple acts involving kidnapping, chargeable under the following provisions of the state law: California Penal Code 207, kidnapping; California Penal Code 21A 664, attempt; California Penal Code 31, aiding and abetting; and California Penal Code 182, conspiracy. Remember when I told y'all, when I said those that were involved, you better get ready, you better lawyer up, because trust me, they coming. They coming. The people are coming. You better get lawyered up. I'm telling you. Multiple acts involving arson, chargeable under the following provisions of state law, blah, 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 California Penal Code. Did we go through that? We're not going to go through all that. I'll drop the link in the description box, and you all can feel free to go back through and read through. It's everywhere. But here we go. All right. Multiple acts under Title 18 United States Code Sections 242.1, 242.2, and 2, related to transportation and inducement to travel for purposes. Inducement to travel for purposes of prostitution and other illegal sexual activities, and multiple offenses involving the possession with intent to distribute or distribution of narcotics and controlled substances, the pink cocaine, including cocaine, pink. I ain't never heard of that. Oxycodone, alprazolam, 3, 4, methamphetamines, okay? 4 bromo, that's 2, 5 dimoxythalate. Nah, we ain't getting into that. Gamma hydroxybutyric acid and ketamine, in violation of Title 21 United States Code, Section 84.1, 841A1, B1C, B1E, B2, and 846. Distribution and possession with intent to distribute and contribute to do the conspiracy to do the same. And Title 18 United States Code, Section 2, aiding, abetting, and willfully causing. It was a part of the conspiracy that Sean Combs, the defendant, agreed that a conspirator would commit at least 2 acts of racketeering activity in the conduct of the affairs of the Combs enterprise. From at least in or about 2009 up to and including in or about 2018 in the Southern District of New York and elsewhere, as part of the agreement to conduct and participate in the conduct of the affairs of Combs enterprises through a pattern of racketeering activity, Sean Combs, the defendant, agreed to and affecting interstate and foreign commerce, knowingly recruit, entice, harbor, transport, provide, obtain, advertise, maintain, patronize, and solicit by any means a person, knowing and in reckless disregard of the fact that means of force, threats of force, fraud, and coercion as described in Title 18, United States Code Section 1591E2, and any combination of such means would be used to cause the person to engage in commercial sex act in violation of Title 18 United States Code Section 1591A1 and B1. And that was just count one. Count two, sex trafficking by force, fraud, and coercion. From the grand jury, further charges from at least in or about 2009 up to and including in or about 2018 in the Southern District of New York and elsewhere. Combs, aka P. Diddy, the defendant in and affecting interstate and foreign commerce, knowingly recruited, enticed, harbored, transported, provided, obtained, advertised, maintained, patronized, and solicited by any means a person knowing and in reckless disregard of the fact that the means of force, threats of force, fraud, coercion described in Title 18 United States Code, Section 1591E2, and any combination of such means would be used to cause the person to engage in a commercial sex act and attempted, aided, and abetted, and willfully caused the same to wit, Combs recruited, enticed, harbored, transported, and maintained a person, victim one, and attempted, aided, and abetted, and willfully caused victim one to engage in commercial sex acts knowingly and in recklessly disregard of the fact that victim one was engaging in commercial sex acts as a result of force, fraud, and coercion. Count three, transportation to engage in prostitution. From at least in or about 2009. Y'all ready? Y'all still with me? All right. Welcome everybody. Welcome everybody who's in here. We're going through this indictment. We're breaking it down piece by piece. Make sure you leave a comment. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you like. Make sure you turn on the notification bell. Let me know that you're here. All right. All right, from and or at least about 2009 up to and including or about 2004. And in the Southern District of New York and elsewhere, Sean Combs, the defendant, knowingly transported an individual in interstate and foreign commerce with intent that the individual engaged in prostitution and attempted, aided, and abetted, and willfully caused the same. To wit, Combs transported, aided, and abetted, and willfully caused the transportation of female victims and male, allegedly, and commercial sex workers in interstate and foreign commerce on multiple occasions with the intent that they engage in prostitution. Forfeiture allegations. As a result of committing the offense alleged in count one of this indictment, Sean Combs shall forfeit to the United States pursuant to Title 18 United States Code, Section 1963, any and all interest the defendant acquired or maintained in violation Title 18 United States Code, Section 1962, and all interest in securities of claims against and property are contractual rights for any kind affording a source of influence over the enterprise named and described hereon, which the defendant established, operated, controlled, conducted, and participated in the conduct of in violation of Title 18 United States Code Section 1962, and any and all property constituting and derived from proceeds obtained directly and indirectly said offense, including but not limited to a sum of money in United States currency representing the amounts of proceeds traceable to the commissions of said offense. All right. All right. As a result of committing the offense alleged in count two of this indictment, Sean Combs, the defendant, shall forfeit, blah, 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 the United States Code, Section 1594, any and all property, real and personal, involved in, used, or intended to be used to commit or to facilitate the commissions of said offenses, and any and all property traceable to such property. Any and all property, real and personal, constituting or derived from proceeds obtained directly or indirectly as a result of said offense, including but not limited to a sum of money in United States currency representing the amount of property involved in said offense, and proceeds traceable to the commission of said offense. So basically, and we don't have to go through that all over again. It's just kind of repetition of what I just said. What that basically says, and let me break it down. What that basically said, simplified. Any money, any property, real estate, any assets, anything, real estate, real property, anything he obtained through Combs Enterprises, okay? Anything he obtained, any monies he obtained, it will be seized by the government. So, what that says is, guys, get ready because there's about to be more to come. And I think we're probably going to be seeing some news reports sooner than later of his properties being seized. Okay? Now, here's the stipulation. If any of the above described forfeitable property, and thank you guys who all just joined. Thank you so much for joining. Hey everybody. Hey Miss Prada. Hey TLC 1014. Hey everybody. Make sure you leave a comment. Make sure you let me know you're here. Make sure you like this video. We need to run these numbers up, y'all. I'm trying to get these watch hours. I need to get these subscribers. I'm telling y'all, let's run these numbers up. Come on through for your boy now. Come on. Come on, so we can keep me going. Come on now. Show your support. And thank you to everybody that already has. And everybody that continues to. Thank you. If any of the above described forfeitable property, houses, bank accounts, investments, anything, as a result of any act or omission of the defendant, cannot be located upon the exercise of due diligence, has been transferred or sold to or deposited with a third person, or has been placed beyond the jurisdiction of the court, or has been substantially diminished in value, or has been commingled with other property which cannot be subdivided with difficulty. And I'm going to come back to this. It is the intent of the United States, pursuant to Title 18 United States Code, Section 1963M, Title 21 United States Code, Section 853P, and Title 28 United States Code, Section 24061C, to seek forfeiture of any property, any other property of the defendant up to the value of the above forfeitable property. What they saying, you better not do. You better not try to hide it when we come and look for it. You better not have any of your people try to hide it when we come and look for it. You better not even try to sell it. Okay? Don't try to get rid of it or sell it. Don't try to put it in your mama name. Don't try to put it in your kid's name. Don't even try to put it in your greedy grandma name. Don't try to put it in nobody's name. It better still be your name or Combs Enterprises. All right? Don't go and try to have no offshore account. Okay? Switzerland, the Maldives, wherever. Don't try to go and get an offshore account because we coming for it. All right? All right? Don't try to diminish it in value. Don't even try. Don't think about it. Don't try to. Oh, it ain't worth that. Oh, yes, it is. Okay? Don't try to commingle it with other property, which cannot be subdivided. Okay? Try to put it all into something else you can't divide it from. We ain't going for that. They ain't going for it. So what that says to me after reading this 14-page indictment, and thank you all for sticking with me doing this, but we ain't done. Your ass is grass. With the song Nowhere to Run, Nowhere to Hide. It ain't. They're gonna get you, buddy. They already got you. They already got you. Okay, he ain't going nowhere, y'all. And I don't even know if I even want to say it's sad to say, because it might not be. I don't think it is, especially if he is guilty. Okay, because all of this is alleged. If he is guilty of doing any of these things, any of these heinous crimes that he is being accused of, I don't feel sorry for him. I just do not feel sorry for him. I don't. I don't whatsoever. And they gonna R. Kelly his ass. They gonna R. Kelly his ass. Let's just call a spade a spade. They gonna R. Kelly him. And I'm gonna tell you how. Because according to news reports today, his bail was denied. His bond and bail was denied. They denied it. So that tells you right there. Remember when they did that to R. Kelly? Guess where he locked up, y'all? Guess where he at? I'm gonna tell y'all in a minute. I'm gonna tell y'all in a minute. Just stay with me. I'm gonna tell y'all in a minute. But okay, according to his attorney, and I quote, he is an imperfect person, but he is not a criminal. The attorney said Combs voluntarily, and this is according to ABC News, Combs voluntarily moved to New York 2 weeks ago, anticipating the indictment. He said they had planned to surrender to federal prosecutors before Combs was arrested outside the Park Hyatt Hotel in Midtown. So, a lot of times, in case you guys did not know, a lot of times when people turn themselves in, they already got the heads up they're about to be arrested. They know what time it is. I feel like when y'all saw that video of him and Stevie J walking on the beach, taking pictures with fans. Oh, how nice it did it. Oh, why he taking pictures with fans? We ain't never seen him really do that before. You gotta try to show that you're a man of the people. You're a man of the people. You love the people. Okay, pay attention. When Diddy was spotted out having dinner with his kids, his family, whatever have you, you know what that is? Let me show them that I'm a family man. I'm all about family. I can't go. I can't be locked up because I'm all about family. It's a family thing. We're a family. All right? Because y'all know that's how people get down. You got to try to prove the court. You got to try to show them something. I'm sure his attorneys told him, you got the best ones money can buy. Let's see how good they are, though. But I'm sure they told him, you got to do all of these things because you have to portray the image that you this family man, you're a man of the people, you taking pictures with click, click. You got to do all of that because you got to prove reasons why we should not lock you down. The attorney again said he moved to New York 2 weeks ago, anticipating the indictment. Well, seems like the judge was not so convinced. Because keep in mind that also turning yourself in, even though some people turn themselves in, especially high profile people, they turn themselves in so they can avoid the spectacle of the paparazzi and the news station, everybody catching them, turn themselves in, so on and so forth. So they try to hurry up and beat them to the punch and do it themselves. And also in this case, allegedly, it may be a play at trying to show, you see, I cooperate with the courts. I do everything that the courts ask me to do, even turn myself in on time. But see, the Fed, Homeland Security, HSI, they weren't having that yesterday. We came and got that ass early. Okay? They was waiting for him at the dump at the Hyatt Park Regency or the Park Hyatt Hotel, Midtown, New York, dump. They was waiting for him. All right? At court one Tuesday, Judge Robin Ternofsky, whatever, ordered Combs detained pending trial, saying, my concern is that this is a crime that happens behind closed doors. The judge noted the power imbalance between Combs and the alleged victims, and she mentioned Combs' alleged drug abuse and violence. Drug use and violence. Federal prosecutors wanted Combs detained, arguing in a letter to the judge that he's dangerous and poses an ongoing threat to the community. The defendant also poses a significant risk of obstructing justice, prosecutors said. During the course of the charged conduct, the defendant has attempted to bribe security, staff, and threaten and interfere with witnesses to his criminal conduct. But we coming back to that one because I got a juicy one for you. And Miss Prada, I think we talked about this, so maybe we didn't. But I got one for you. He has already tried to obstruct the government's investigation of this case, repeatedly contacting victims and witnesses and feeding them false narratives of events. There are simply no conditions that will ensure that the defendant's efforts to obstruct and tamper with witnesses will stop, prosecutor says. And Nifiglo had urged the judge to release Combs on a $50 million bail package, saying his client is not a flight risk, prosecutors portrayed. The lawyer said Combs arrived in New York on September 5th, and came here to face it. Ignifilo said Combs is trying to sell his private plane. I know that's right. Ignifilo said he took possession of his client's passport and those of 5 of his relatives. Now, word on the street is those relatives were his mother and his kids. I want to say his daughters. May have been the minors. But yeah, they took their passport. So ain't nobody going nowhere. That's what the government said. The government said, pause, put the brakes on it. Y'all ain't going nowhere. Y'all ain't going nowhere. Right? The bail hearing is set for Wednesday at 3:30 p.m. before the district judge who will preside over the case. For now, Combs will spend the night in federal custody. I wonder did he see R. Kelly? They might make some good music over there. I won't be listening to it, but y'all can feel free to listen to it. But Combs was recognized as one of the most influential figures in hip hop before a flood of allegations that emerged over the past year turned him into an industry pariah. And that people, what that basically said is that would not have happened. None of this probably would not have come into play if it was not for the newly overturned and changed New York Adult Survivors Act. Okay? That's what Cassie was able to bring up her lawsuit under the New York Adult Survivors Act, allowing women to bring civil lawsuits against their abusers. Okay, so that law just came about. So that's how Cassie was able to bring her lawsuit about. And then again, if you remember, in November, his former girlfriend, Cassie, legal name Cassandra, filed a lawsuit saying he had beaten and raped her for years. She accused Combs of coercing her and others into unwanted sex and drug-fueled settings. The suit was settled in one day, but months later, CNN aired the hotel security. You guys remember that? Remember, it was just horrible. It was disgusting to see that video. It was so disgusting. Okay. A woman also said, and let's pull up this. I want to show you guys this. Let's see if I can pull this up. While we're discussing this, let me see if I can pull this up for you. Give me just a second. I think I got it queued up. Let's see. I might not. I thought I did. I don't have it queued up, but I'm gonna run it back down to you because I haven't figured out quite how to show a picture on here yet. So I'm gonna just give you guys the timeline, okay? I'm gonna give you all the timeline. Bear with me just a moment. All right, so the timeline. Let's see if I can share it. Maybe I can. Let's see. Hold on. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Hey, wait a minute. Let's see if we can share this. So that way, if you don't know, now you know what the timeline of the events are. All right. Let's see. And I don't want to mess nothing up. Y'all know I'm good for messing something up on this here live. Y'all know I am, so I don't want to mess with that. I want to mess with that. Anyhow, November 2023, Cassie sues for trafficking, rape, and abuses and abuse then settles. That was November 2023. Two more women sued for sexual abuse. December 2023, another woman sued saying he raped her when she was 17 years old. Y'all remember that girl in the studio? I think she went to Syracuse University or something like that. And him and that tall, bald head, light skinned guy, one of his I think he was on the Making the Band show. Allegedly, all this is alleged. But I think he was on the Making the Band show. Anyhow, February, producer Lil Rod sued, saying he pressured him to engage in sex acts with witnesses, with prostitutes and witness Combs drug others. Remember that guy said he was on that boat with Cuba Gooding Jr. Remember when he said Cuba called him in the studio by himself? Remember that? And remember that picture with him and Cuba, was in his arms and stuff. Remember? Mm-hmm. Y'all remember how they tried to get Cuba on all those charges for rape and all this, and you remember the rape charges. Y'all remember? If you don't, go back and look at it. Don't let it be an R. Kelly situation. It can get you there, but we're gonna get you now. All right, remember you heard it here first. March, federal agents raid Combs' L.A. and Miami homes. April, lawsuit alleges Combs and son. Remember his son? The girl said on the yacht that he drugged her and raped her. I think it was a deckhand. Um, in May, another woman accuses Diddy of sexual assault. Remember the hotel security footage then came out. Then in May, also May of 24 this year, Combs posted a public apology to Cassie. Right? Wednesday, Don Richards sues for psychological and physical abuse. And then here we are, Monday. He was arrested. Boy, this is a lot. This is a lot. Do you hear me? Y'all let me know what y'all think about it. Right, freak off. Plenty of them. Scrumptious sound system. Yes, plenty of them. I'm telling you. And it says, in the closest of in 2001, he was acquitted of charges related to a Manhattan nightclub shooting 2 years earlier that injured 3 people. His then protege, Shine, was convicted of assault and other charges and served about 8 years in prison. So you guys remember that, right? But again, this goes back to what I said. Like the R. Kelly situation. If we can't get you now, we can't get you on the front end, we're going to get you on the back end. Because trust me, when the feds, Homeland Security, any of them come sniffing around, they got something. And if they can't get you then, they're going to sit back and they're going to wait. They're going to sit on you. They're going to sit and they're going to sit and they're going to watch and they're going to watch until they got something to come at you with. Because when they come, they ain't coming as no bull, okay? No BS. They ain't coming on that. They're going to hit you with facts. Hard facts. They're coming at you. And that's what they did with him. We couldn't get you on the front end like they did R. Kelly. Cuba, you might be next. We can't get you on the front end, allegedly. We can't get you on the front end, but we sure gonna get you on the back end. All right. And another thing that I want to circle back around to before I forget. Remember, I mentioned about the computers and everything being seized, or the audio, him recording. Dumb move. Because what you must always realize when you're dealing with anything with computers, and even though they seized his property and they seized his property to obtain those devices, those recording devices, one thing you cannot do, you can go back through and you can try to erase the dirty ish that you do on these here computers, cell phones, any of that, cameras, all of that. You can go back and you can try to erase it. But the feds have a very complex system of obtaining even the information that you think that you have deleted. They have a way of obtaining that. Okay, the feds see all, hear all. All these devices we have in our house, Siri, Google Play, Google this, what the thing called, the Google Home, all of that stuff. Like, let me tell you something. You better be like 2 Chainz. You better be fresh as hell when them feds watching. I'm telling you, I'm gonna be fresh as hell. Shit, Diddy was fresh. I think he was, but they were watching. But yeah, so his electronic footprint, you guys, for some reason, I feel like that is going to be one of the nails in his coffin. In his coffin. And it's going to be used. And I think I mentioned this in my video last night. It's going to be used to bring out more witnesses or witnesses that turn um um witnesses or co-conspirators. It's going to be one or the other. They're either going to be his co-conspirators or they're going to catch a deal and they're going to turn it to witnesses on him. Watch and see. And I told you guys, and refer back to my video from last night. I explained this to you guys, and I told you that it was said, allegedly, that there were others, and maybe some high-profile individuals, all those white parties. Who knows what happened? Remember all these people that were so scared of, I ain't hanging with Diddy. Because we know what happens, but they wouldn't say it. Remember? When you gonna party with me, Daddy? What you call him, Daddy? When you gonna party with me? Everybody knew about this. And if everybody knew, somebody seen something. Cat Williams, you got to tell Diddy no. And right, Miss Prada, right there. He got an indictment. They presented the case before a jury and they decided it was enough information to convict the person. Absolutely. So that's why I said when they come at you, it ain't no joke. They got you. They got something on you. They got solid, concrete evidence on you. And they know ain't no way you gonna wiggle your way up out of that. They know it. They got him. Keep that in mind. They got him. So again, like I was saying, it was said that there were again a lot of footage. And I believe it's a lot of high profile people. Y'all notice some of them have been very silent. A lot of high profile people, they're either going to be co-conspirators or they're going to turn into witnesses. Watch and see what I tell you. What don't come out in the wise will come out in the rinse. Trust me. It's all coming out. And I'm just curious to see who's involved. And you remember in Don Richards' lawsuits, she named some names. She named some pretty big names. And if I ain't mistaken, what Usher tied up in there somewhere? I got to go back through it. But wasn't Usher name tied up in there? I know that's right. Uh, but y'all remember that video when Kevin Hart was in there filming at that party? Remember that big black dildo was on that bathtub or wherever it was? Y'all remember? Allegedly. Y'all remember? Y'all remember? I'm telling y'all, it's this going to end horribly for him. This is going to end horribly. Oh, and I know what you came here for. Allegedly, in that plea for bail, he offered to sell his property, including his home and his mother's home. Now, again, as I said in the beginning of the video, you got to be one desperate man to want to do something like that, sell your mother's home. Your own home, yeah, because it's you that got into trouble. But to sell your mom's home, one desperate man. But I guess in this situation, Diddy is a desperate man. I mean, wouldn't you be? If you were facing the issue that he's facing, uh, I just I, 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 yeah, I don't think so either. I don't, and especially with Homeland Security when it comes to transporting in and out of the country for prostitution, and you running this big organized crime ring, racketeering, that's serious. Look at Young Thug. Look how he's sitting there and he waiting this one out. And in case you didn't know, racketeering is pretty much a pattern of illegal activities that are carried out to earn profit, often through fraud, extortion, bribery, threats of violence. It can be disguised pretty much as Combs Enterprises or as a legitimate business or business deal. Um, the Racketeer Influence and Corrupt Organizations Act, better known as RICO, is a federal law in the United States that makes it illegal to acquire or control a business through certain crimes or income from those crimes. Remember when I said that any monies, any properties, any bank accounts, any real property, whatever, everything he couldn't sell it. Remember, it had to remain on hold. He could not try to transfer it out. That's part of the RICO. RICO also makes it illegal to participate in certain crimes committed by a business, even indirectly. Okay. And some examples of racketeering include bribery, fraud, gambling offenses, money laundering, financial economic crimes, obstruction of justice, calling your witnesses and threatening them. And speaking of witnesses and threatening them, remember, what's the girl, Kalina? Kalina. Remember, she was a part of Dirty Money as well. Y'all remember that? Remember when Dawn filed her report the other day, and Kalina came out to refute that? Say, "Oh, Diddy was this good man. She ain't never seen none of this." Well, let me tell you something. I knew it. I knowed it, and I think, Miss Prada, I think I told you this. We may have said it on our now deleted live that we attempted the other night. I knowed it, I knowed it, I knew it. The reason why she did that, and this is alleged, but this is according, okay, to what I read earlier on one of the news sources. Diddy contacted Kalina 58 times. He called her 58 times in 4 days. What you think he called her for? What y'all really think he called her for? Drop down in the chat and tell me what y'all think he called her for. 58 times in 4 days, and you facing something like this when you know her band member just filed a lawsuit against you, and you call her the next day 58 times for 4 days? Oh, you were burning her phone up. I bet her phone was smoking. He was calling her so much. He was burning that phone up because he knew what time it was. That girl don't say something, and he knew it. He probably either threatened her, allegedly, I don't know, but he either told her he was gonna help her with her career. Cause y'all remember when she was on Love and Hip Hop, that career was, that career was sleep like my dog over there. It was a wrap. Something happened. That's why he called her 58 times in 4 days. It don't make no sense. It don't make no sense. It don't make no sense to call nobody that much because you know what you was calling them for. So, guys, at this time, the reality is, Diddy got a problem. I don't know, y'all. I don't know. I mean, it's clear, like I said, Diddy has a long and difficult road ahead of him. And as we watch the drama unfold, because I'm sitting back and I'm watching, I'm minding my business, y'all business, and now his business. Okay. As we watch this drama unfold, we're going to be forced to confront really the harsh realities of what fame brings, fortune brings, and the consequences of their actions. The lifestyles of the rich and famous. Oh, how we all look at these pictures and say to ourselves, "Oh, I want to be them one day. I wish I was. I wish I was them. I wish I was living this life, Carisha. I wish I was doing all of this, living like Carisha getting her stipend a month." And see, that's where she better be careful at too, Cause see, she don't came all on the TV bragging about how much money he gave her every month. Okay, pay attention. She did all that bragging, Poppy. She did all that bragging about Poppy. Let's see what it's about to leave, y'all. I'm telling y'all, he got a long and difficult road ahead of him. I'm telling y'all, and I just don't see this ending anytime soon. Hell, if Young Thug is in there for racketeering, and he been in there this long, and R. Kelly's sitting there, he fight for his life. They try to end his life or whatever he said with Gayle King. Listen, I think it's a lot more to come out with Diddy and a lot more characters in this stage play. So anyway, so what do you guys think about the Diddy situation? Do you think he's making the right call by selling his mom's house? Do you think all these charges he deserves them? Do you think he should keep fighting and keep it up, or do you think he should give it up? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button because y'all listen. This is important, guys. Tell your friends, tell your family members they need to watch. I'm trying to get my watch hours up. I'm trying to get my viewership up. I'm trying to let YouTube know that I, Crowned by Kenzie, I'm here and I ain't going nowhere. I'm like that little, that gnat right now. I'm like a little gnat. They trying to shoo me away. No, I ain't gonna let the algorithm shoo me away. No, 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 no. We'll blow up to an even bigger gnat. Come on, y'all. Let them know I'm here. Let them know that I'm here. You like the channel, subscribe again, tell your friends about it, hit the notification bell. Well, I tried to get a schedule going for you guys, but unfortunately, a schedule with YouTube videos just do not work for me. But I'm gonna try my best to let you guys know ahead of time. Um, let you guys know in advance when I am going to post the video. But again, guys, that's the importance of hitting that notification bell so that way you do know when I go live, post another video, whether it's about celebrity pop culture or this Diddy trial. Thank you guys for watching, and make sure don't forget this Friday we may not do Crown by Kenzie. It's vacation time, y'all. Listen, I'm tired. I's tired. Okay. Not of you guys. Thank you guys. Not tired of you guys, but listen, I'm just tired of work alone for this week. I need a vacation, and I'm gonna take that. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will definitely catch you guys in the very next video. And we're gonna stay on top of this Diddy case. Y'all take care. Have a wonderful evening. Good night, and bye.